recording. So it's started. So fine. What is collections in Java is it's a kind of framework they have provided, and that just provide you a way to manipulate a group of objects. Let's say you have created a number of objects of string class. Now, what you want to do is you want to store them in somewhere. So, what would you choose? Either you would create some kind of array, or there is another option. You can create a collection of that. So, in array, there is a limitation, right? You will have to decide like what size of array you wanted to have, right? But we are not sure like what size we would exactly have. While writing our code, we know like I do have one object now, but it may grow. Then in that case, we should go for collection. So collection particularly is an interface in collection class, collection framework, and there are some other sub interface of collection called list, queues, and set. Fine. And further, list is divided into list is an interface, and it has been implemented by these classes: array list, linked list, and vector. And similar way, queue is an interface, and it has been implemented by class priority queue. And set is an interface, and it has been implemented by class hasset and linked hasset. We saw that, right? How do we create an interface? So similar way, set is an interface. It's a predefined interface, and set does have few methods, and that particular interface has been implemented by these classes. Similarly, list is an interface, and it has been implemented by these other classes. So what is a list? Let's say what's a list is, let's say you have some elements. So it's similar to the C language list that we have. You would be knowing that, right? So in C we have list this way, right? And then we would have some values here, like it would be key, or it would be here we would have the value of that. And this all will be connected by this way. Fine. And here we would have null, and we haven't had here, so that is had, that will have the fine. So this here would have some kind of pointer, or I would say the memory location. So this memory location would go on to head. So it's a similar way of like the way we do have this in C, we have in Java. So how do we use that? That we will see. Rather, I would explain set as well. So list is basically like you can add any number of objects, in the link, and you would have a growable list of objects. And set is something that provides you the unique values. Let's say you have some object you just wanted to have the unique value of all that. Then you would use set. So set basically does not allow duplicates, while list allows the duplicates, and set does not. Fine. So this is the basic difference between set and list. And queue, we really use this queue, and it's kind of like FIFO model. It works like first in, first out, right? So this is what the queue is. Fine. So we'll see like how do we use that. We'll create a package called dot collection demo. New class, fine. We'll add main method here. Fine. So first of all, we are going about like list. What is list? So as I said, like list is an interface. List is an interface. So I created an object of list, object list. So now I wanted to create an object. So what I would use is new, and what class I do have. So I cannot create an object of list. Why? Because list is an interface. So it's saying import list java.awt. So one second. We'll not import that. We'll see that later on. But list object we cannot create because it's an interface, not an class. We can create an object of class only. So now it's saying we import these two. So which one I would do is it's saying import list from java.awt. Java.awt is in package, and another option it's giving me import list java.util. So basically all these collections that we have in Java resides in java.util package. So we would always import the java.util package. So, so that all the functions in the classes would be available to us here. Fine. So we imported that. So you would see this option here, like you are seeing like java.util.list. That means we are able to access the list now. Now again, if you go and see like what error it is giving, it's saying list is a raw type. Reference to generic type list should be parameterized. So what is generic type and what is non-generic type, that we will see. First of all is we cannot create an object of list. Why? Because it is an interface. You cannot instantiate. Let it's saying, it's telling you cannot instantiate the type list because it's an interface. Fine. So now what classes we have in what classes we have that has implemented list, array list, linked list, and vector are the classes those has implemented this. So we would create an object of that. Array list. Fine. So this is how we could create an object of array list. So as we have seen in the section we were discussing about like interface, like when we are implementing an interface can always have the class object that has implemented it, right? Because parent can always have the childs. Fine. But still you see like it's saying like the value of the local variable object is not used. Generic, we were discussing about like what is generic and what is non-generic. When we creating an object, this shine is coming, right? So what does it mean is now if I do enter something, let's say obj list dot add. Add is a function to add an object into this array list. So I added some value, let's say a. Sorry, a value a I added. But what if I add a value integer as well? It's allowing you to add either strings or integer or any other object. Let's say I can uh, enter or add in this list a value 45.56. I'm sorry. So now this array list is allowing you to add anything. So what would happen when you will access these values? So what would happen is you would be not sure like what kind of array list it is. Does it provide strings object? Does it provide integer objects? Or does it provide doubles? So we are not sure about it. So that is why generic came into the picture. What does it mean by generic is we'll predefine like what kind of object this list would have. Fine. Now if you see, it's giving you an error. Previously it was not giving. I'll control Z this all. And you see like there is no error, right? But when I said that this particular list would have strings, then it started giving me an error. So this is what is generic is. In generic, we do specify like what kind of list we are going to create. So I said I would create a list of strings. That is why it is not allowing me to add these. I'll have to specifically give strings, then only it will allow me. Fine. So now there is no error, right? And you were seeing that, okay, once we define generic, it is not given error to us. So if you see object list dot, so these are the methods we have in list. Iterator is a method if you wanted to loop through, if you wanted to read each and every value of the list. Contains, if you wanted to find like if some particular object resides in the list or not. Size, we can find like what is the size of the list. Remove, if you want to remove some object, add index. Or if you wanted to remove an object with the name of the object. Index of, if you want to find like what is the index of that particular object. Get, if you wanted to get something. Add string, add are the these are the constructor of the add. The way we do use this add, we have some other methods as well. Add string you can supply at what index you want to do, add your object, add all. You have a already created collection of string and you wanted to add all the objects inside a newly created list, then you can add them at one time. So this is how these many functions we have. So we'll go over a few of them. We'll see. Now I have added these values in my list. I want to access them. Values in array list. So obj list dot get at index 0 what it gives me. So it's saying at index 0 you have a value 8. So this is what I entered, right? So if I access some more, I want you to access 1 as well as 2. Okay, so it's giving me whatever I entered, right? What if you wanted to, you would not like to, let's say you have entered hundreds of values in array list and you would not like to access them this way with the index because you are not so sure like how to do that. Then in that case we can use for each loop as well to do that. So in for each loop what would happen is this object list object you have and you have to get the size of it. So what's the size of the list? Now what we'll do is we'll print the values of this array list. Object list dot get at index I. Fine. So I'll comment this system dot out dot print. So now it's at once gives the values of array list, right? So this is one way of iterating through the array list. There's an another way of iterating the array list is iterator. So what is iterate over this is iterator. So what you do is iterator is an interface, and what it does is it helps you iterate through any collection that you have. Fine. So what it does is it works on object of the collection, and when you call this method dot iterator, it gives you an object of iterator. Fine. So iterator dot has next is something verified, like if your list does have any other element in next, then it'll this loop will go, otherwise this loop will stop. So iterator dot next gives you the next element of the list, and then whatever is a type of that particular object in the list will convert that into that type, like string we had, so we are converting it to the string type, and then we are storing that into a string. Fine. I wanted to print that, so I would see array list through strings, array list through iterator. So this is how as well we can iterate through a list, right? Okay. So this is done, and we have linked list. The way we did created array list, we can also create a linked list. How we can? Okay, this is one way of creating an array list. If you don't want to use this list, then you can also create this with the help of directly using array list class. Sorry, directly using array list class this way. Sorry. This way as well you can create an object of array list, but you should prefer to store that into an interface. Why? Because whatever the methods of this interface would be, those as well you would get access of that. If you use array list only, if you use array list here, then you would be able to access only the methods those are there in the array list class, but not from the list interface. So that is why you should always prefer to store an object of array list or vector or linked list into a list object, list reference variable. Fine. So list, linked list, linked list. So this is how we can create. Now if you see like it's saying this thing, so if you want to use some generics, you can use that. This linked list would have integers. So the way we created array list, we can create linked list. We can add any integer in this particular linked list. Fine, so we created linked list, and in the similar manner we can access that. Fine. So if you do linked list object and then perform dot, then you would see like these many methods this linked list provides. Fine, and we can use them. This is how the linked list works. And vector, vector we do rarely use. In some cases only we do use that. Why? Because Array list and linked list are not. Vector is thread safe. Thread safe means it is synchronized. Synchronized means, let's say if we created so many threads of executing a single code, then in that case we would use vector, otherwise we would use array list or linked list. So we do rarely use vector basically. Fine. This is the array list and linked list. Now we'll go about set. What is set? The way we created an object of list, we would be creating an object of set. New hash. Fine. As I said, you set as an interface and hasset and linked hasset are the classes. So what we do is set as an interface. So we'll take a reference variable of that and we'll create an object of a class. Fine. Now you see some error it's showing. So what are the errors is we'll see like what we have to import. All the collections are set in java.utils. So I would import that. Error is gone. Now what you can do, you can add the values in set. I entered something. Let's say ABC set dot add. I added XYZ. Fine. So we'll use generics here as well if you want. So we can say this set contains strings only. What if I do this thing? What would happen? Fine. Fine. I created an integer, let's say. Integer. So it's giving me an error like we have a string and replace them. We'll access it. We cannot iterate it through for loop. So how would be print that? 1 second now. System set dot contains this. Fine. So we can use a for each loop for that, and Fine. So we'll just run it and we'll see. It's giving me 12 and 13. While I entered three values here, 12, 13 and 12, right? But it's still giving me 12 and 13. Why? Because as I said, set allows only the unique values. It does not let you contain the duplicates value. Even you use like set.add 12 because it already finds it here. That is why it did not even enter it. Fine. When we access it, it's showing us 12 and 13 only. Even if I do as many times this 12, it will not bother about it. I'll just run it and we'll see what happens. It is still giving you 12 and 13. So this is how we can access and set and add the values of that. So when we require like unique values to be entered in a collection, then we would use set. Fine. While we require duplicate or unique or any kind of values, then we can use array list or linked list. Fine. So this is the difference between both of them. Now we'll go about this map. So set is almost linked has set is kind of like linked list is a version of linked list. In has set, like whatever the values you entered, you are not sure about the order of that, like in what order you entered the values. But in linked list, what you know about is whatever you are entering are in a particular order. When you entered one, and after that you entered two, and then you entered three, four, five. So order is being created there in linked list. While in hash set or array list, the order is not maintained. I'm sorry. But in linked hash set, the order is maintained. That is the only difference. Fine. Map interface. What is map interface and why it is separate from collection? So a map is basically a key and value architecture map. A map contains value on the basis of the keys and values pair basically. So each key and value pair is known as an entry in the map, and map contains only unique keys. A map is useful if you have to search, update, or delete elements on the basis of key. Fine. So basically, this is how the map created in the memory. You would have map something like this in the memory, and if you see, let's say here would be key and here would be values. So this is how it does have. So key means any unique key. It may be anything, like the key may be an string, key may be an integer. So if you wanted to enter something, let's say you entered integer as a key or a string as a key. So this is your key. Let's say some character is in key, and then value may be anything, right? So we can enter anything here. Let's say you entered 1 2 3 4. This value is a value of the uh, map, and then you entered a key b, and then you entered corresponding value of that is this. But what if you entered a value of b again, key, and the value of that you are entering anything? So the map would not allow that, because a map means you should have unique keys, and corresponding to those unique key you should have some values of that. The value can be anything. It may be duplicate or not, but the key must be unique. Fine. So this is what the map is, and it is how it has been stored in uh, memory. Fine. So we'll go about it and how do we use that. map. I'll create an object of that. So the way we had an interface of that, we have an interface for map as well. Map is an interface, and these are the classes those implements this map interface. We have hash map and linked hash map and tree map. So most of the cases we do use hash map or linked hash map. Fine. So the way we were creating an object in list and set, we would also create an object of map here, hash map. Fine. So if you go and take your mouse here, it'll again ask you like what kind of package these in what kind of maps this what kind of package this collection is, right? So you'll use that. Fine. So once you utilize that, it will not go and give you an error. So again, Gendex came in picture in map as well. So how it came is we can define like what would be our key and what would be our value. I'm saying I would keep string key and integer values. So it will verify and check I'm always entering a string key or not. I'm entering an integer as a value or not. I can change it to integer as well. That I wanted to enter integer key and integer value. So I can keep anything. I can say like I wanted to keep dog objects as an key and dog objects as a value, or I can keep like dog as an object of key and cat as a value. So it can contain anything. Fine. So I'm saying like I would be keeping integer key and integer value. So now if I do okay, now if I wanted to enter the values here, dot put is the method that will allow you to enter something into an map. Uh, this put method saying like integer key and integer value because we have already defined here integer and integer. Fine. So it's asking like what would be your key. So I gave 12 is a let's say 1 is a key, and I'm saying like this is my value. Fine. And if I do this for 2, 3, and 4, and values this, 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 fine. So I have created my map now. So I wanted to access it then. How would I do that? System.out.println maps values map dot get. There is a get method. It asks you, this get method takes the key. What's the key you wanted to access? So once you provide the key, it will fetch the value corresponding to that key. I gave 3 and I would execute it. It should give me 34. It's giving me 34. So because at this particular key location, this value is stored. The same is being fetched here. Fine. So this is how we can access a map. I wanted to get a value of 1. It will give me value of that. Fine. So this is how we do access it. Map and that all. So any question or you have around these collections?
No, Manoj. Going.
Okay, fine. So just give me a minute. I'm just coming back. Fine.
Okay, sure.
Hi, Swali.
Yes, Manoj.
Yeah, so this is what is nearly most of the Java topics we have covered. So, if you think like there is anything that you wanted to know about, so you can just practice all these things that we have explained, and I hope like you would be having a good exposure then if you practice it by yourself only, and then you can come up with like if you think like something is not uh, good or like you wanted to learn more, want to explore more, just write some programs around Java, create some classes, create some interfaces, create some methods inside that, extend it, and implement that, and do all those things, then you'll get a good idea of this. Fine.
Yeah, sure, Manoj.
And I'll send you these exercises that we have done so that you
Okay.
can practice that. Fine.
Yes, send me the recorded sessions too.
Recorded session, okay, I'll give you the link. Actually, I do not know like where to upload that, so I uploaded that on YouTube. So I'll give you that 1 second. No? So these are the two sections I have uploaded. So you can check on these two classes. So I'll ping you the link. I believe we should be able to find chats. Just try to access this link. Are you able to see these two sessions?
Yeah, I'll try. Um, this video has been removed by user.
That's it. Search for
Yeah,
this.
it is coming. Yeah, it's, the other
It's
link is. Yeah, it's coming, Manoj.
coming. All right,
Yeah.
fine. Okay, so you can check on all these things. I'll upload this as well, so
Okay,
you
sure.
can check it. And I'll
Definitely.
send this code as well that we have practiced. Fine.
Yeah, I saved this code, so that's
Okay, fine. So last time, what do we discuss is how do we execute a particular test case or Selenium scripts on a particular browser like Firefox Browser, right?
yeah.
So did you get a chance to practice that?
No.
I believe like you should have practiced that because then only you will be able to understand much better the other things. Fine. So, so I was about to go on like how do we execute script on Firefox, I mean Chrome browser and on Ali Internet Explorer browser. So
Hmm.
uh, I would hope like you go first, like how do we create something in Eclipse and how do we execute a particular case on uh, Firefox browser. Once you are done with that, I would go for like how do we uh, execute on Chrome and then I. So otherwise things would mess up, Srivali.
Yeah.
Um, you understood? Like I mean, I may complete the training, and after the training, you say like, "Oh, Manoj, I don't even know like how do we execute it on this way." So I want you to be on the same page I am. So please go through that, and then we can go over the next session, I believe, because I'm just completing the things, and if you are not on the same page I am, then it would be difficult, right?
Yeah, that is true. I'll go through with it. Yep.
Okay, so please, today
Yeah.
I would expect you to just have an overview of the sessions that we have till today.
Okay. Sure.
So what you would is like how I mean basically this you have an exposure of that, like how do we create an object of driver, how do we create an URL, how do we find an element by different locator, and how do we enter the text in input box, and how do we hit and click and button. So this you complete, and how do we initialize a driver, a Firefox driver, and how would it execute? So once you are done with that, definitely you will have a feeling like, okay, you are learning a lot in Selenium.
Hmm.
Fine. Just go over all those things. If you have any issues, maybe a tomorrow session we can just keep on discussing like what issues you have, what concerns you have, what questions you have around whatever we have covered today till today. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So you go
Yeah.
through
Okay.
all the things we have done. So just note down anything, everything, all the questions and concerns regarding that. So tomorrow session will go about your concerns around whatever we cover. Fine.
Hmm. Sure.
All right. Take care. So we'll meet tomorrow and we'll
Okay.
discuss. Thank you.
Yep.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you, Manoj. Yep. Bye.